Recording started.
Welcome to this session for Algebra 2 on absolute value and number lines. So what we're going to do today is we are going to use the properties of opposites and absolute value to simplify, evaluate, and compare expressions, and we're going to find rational numbers that are between two other rational numbers. Okay, so first let's talk about absolute value. We have talked about the definition in the past, but we're going to go over it one more time. Absolute value is the distance between a number and 0 on the number line. Some example problems. We did one similar to this in another lesson. Simplify the opposite of the absolute value of -3. So what we're doing, let me write it here. We're going to find the absolute value of -3 first, which is a positive 3. The distance from -3 to 0 on the number line is 3. And then it says, what is the opposite of that? You have this negative sign here, so it's going to be an answer of -3. For our next problem, if x is equal to -4, simplify the absolute value of 2 plus 3 times x. So what this is telling me to do is to take the -4 and substitute it in here for x. In order to do that properly, I need to know what this operation is between the 3 and the x. Well, whenever you have no sign between a number and a variable, it's multiplication. So, and if there's parentheses there, it's multiplication. So it's going to be the absolute value of 2 plus 3 times -4. So I'm replacing that x with -4, and I'm multiplying 3 times -4. So I'm going to follow my order of operations, which tells me to do the multiplication first. So it'll be 2 plus 3 times -4 is -12. Do the absolute value of 2 plus -12. I'll now do 2 plus -12 and get a -10. And I want the absolute value of -10, which is a positive 10. So that is my answer to this simplifying problem. And last, we're going to find some rational numbers. What rational number is 1/3 of the way between -3 and 21? Well, you can look at this on the number line if you would like, but there are steps that we can follow in order to figure this out. What we're going to do first is find the distance between -3 and 21. So we can do that using absolute value. Absolute value of -3 minus 21. And that gives us the absolute value of -24. The signs are the same, so I add and keep the negative sign in my answer. So the absolute value of -24 is positive 24. So the distance between those two numbers is 24 units. So I want to know what rational number is 1/3 of the way. So I'm going to take 1/3 times 24. 1/3 of 24 gives me 8. So the number that I'm looking for is not actually 8. That's the distance that I'm going to add to -3 to find my number. So this is not the number that's 1/3 of the way. It's the number that I'm actually going to add. So there's 3 steps here. You're first going to find the distance, then you're going to take 1/3 of that distance, and then you're going to take the distance that's 1/3 of the way and add it to your beginning number. So I'm going to have -3, the number that I'm starting with, plus 8. And that gives me my answer of 5. So the rational number that is 1/3 of the way is 5. So you may want to pause, try the next one. We're going to be doing what rational number is 1/2 of the way between 5.5 and 13. So you can pause and try it on your own and then come back for the answer. We're going to, again, subtract, find the distance. So it'll be 5.5 minus 13, which gives me -7.5. So I'm doing the absolute value of -7.5, which is positive 7.5. I want the number halfway between, so I'm going to take 1/2 of 7.5, and that gives me 3.75, or 3 3/4. That's not the number halfway. That's just giving me the distance that I need to add to my initial number of 5.5. So it'll be 5.5 plus 3.75, which gives me a number of 8.75. So my number is 8.75. And that ends this session on absolute value and number lines.